Before we start, this is who suggested the idea. Now, let's get on to the what if. In this alternate timeline, Lucifer would make an apple that makes anyone who eats it fall in love with him. As Lucifer was started to get lonely up in heaven, he was beautiful, everyone liked him, but he felt empty. As everyone started to date each other, he didn't have anyone. He didn't have anyone to love. As in this alternate timeline, he would corrupt Lilith to love him before he got sent down to hell. As centuries passed, Lucifer and Lilith would stay together for quite a while. But Lucifer still got a feeling of loneliness, as he got an idea to trick Sarah. As Sarah and Lucifer would call for a meeting. You see, Sarah wanted to discuss diplomatic relations with hell, as it's been a long time since hell and heaven separated, and now they can finally discuss what to do with it. As Sarah and Lucifer would both meet each other, they would have dinner together and discuss things like civilized adults. However, Lucifer had a plan. He knew he couldn't trick her into eating an apple, that would be too obvious. But tricking her into eating something else, that could be interesting. So he had one of his spies place a spell on the food. Sarah was extremely strong, so Lucifer would have to weaken her first. As they were eating, suddenly, Lucifer would stab Sarah with a dagger, as this would cause her to become weakened. As she's already eaten the food, Sarah would say, "What are you?" as her head would get light, as she would look at him and say, Lucifer would say, "You love me, Sarah. I'm the love of your life, and you will hide everything from everyone to be with me." Sarah would nod. As the next day, Lucifer would visit Sarah privately. As Lucifer walked in, he would then put his feet on the table, as he would say, "Sarah, come here." As Sarah would walk up to him and say, "Yes, sir." As he said, "Sir, just call me Lucifer." As she would sit on his lap, Lucifer would kiss her and say, "Sarah, you have a nice personality. I like you. I think you and I are going to be together for a while." As Sarah would say, "Yes, I think so too." As then they would start to make out and have some fun. As the next day came, Lucifer would go back to hell. As every once in a while he would go back to heaven to see Sarah. He enjoyed it. He enjoyed having his wife and his secret girl in heaven. However, Lucifer started to want more. As he started to get more powerful, the urge started to grow for more, as he needed more. As since Lucifer wasn't straight, confirmed by Vizzy, he would be watching some interesting videos and see a star, Angel. As Lucifer would go to Val. Since Val owned Angel's soul, Lucifer thought he could maybe test him out a bit to see if he wants him for himself. He's sure he could buy him, or at the very least fight Val for him. Although he didn't really want to fight for him, he wanted to act civilized. As Lucifer would knock on Val's door, Val would open it and say, Is that Lucifer?" Lucifer would say, "Can I come in?" "Of course." By the way, Charlie wouldn't exist in this timeline because, that would just be weird. So let's continue. As Val would be sitting there, he would look at Lucifer and say, "So, what are you doing here? I've heard about your star Angel. Since I'm the king, I thought I should get a personal experience from him. Don't worry, I'll pay, but I want it to be private." Val would say, "You could have just got him off the street, you know." "I know, but I thought I might keep him for a few days. I do like to have fun for a long while. Don't worry, I'll pay you for every day. And, since I'm the king, I expect royal treatment." Val would sigh, as then he would smile and say, "I can do that." As then he would snap his fingers, as Angel would walk in and say, "What's up? Oh my god, is that Lucifer?" As then Lucifer would say, "Yeah, come on," as he would take Angel's hand and bring him to his place. As Angel would say, "So, you want a bit of fun? The king of hell. It's an honor to serve you." Lucifer would say, "Yeah, it is." As then Lucifer would take Angel up and have a good night with him. But in the morning, Angel would wake up to the smell of eggs and bacon, as Lucifer was cooking for him. As Sarah and Lilith both sat down, as Angel would sit down and say, "What's going on?" Lucifer would say, "Oh, you see, when I date someone, they're like a family to me. I'm kind of poly, as you can imagine. And these are my 2 girlfriends, and I want to add a boyfriend, you. And I know that's a lot to ask, but I was wondering if you'd be interested." Angel would say, "Well, usually you tell them to F off, but since he's the king of hell, and literally has Sarah, a high-ranking member of heaven. Of course, Angel didn't know how high. He could just tell she was an angel. He didn't want to make him mad, so he would try to make some excuse up. As in Lucifer would say, "What if I got rid of the contract? Would you try then?" Angel would say, "What? You can do that?" As Angel would, well, be excited, but also worried, as no one could ever, confront Val, but this was Lucifer, the king of hell himself. Angel would say, "I don't know." Lucifer would say, "We'll see about that," as he would get up and go to Val. As Val would be counting his money, he would knock on the door. As Val opened it, Lucifer would throw down the money. "Ah, very good. I might up the price a bit. Losing out my greatest star for days on end will starve me of money, And I miss him. Yeah, about that. Our deal is in void. Angel belongs to me now." Val would say, "I have a contract, you," as in Lucifer would grab it and rip it up. As then, Val would start to scream as he would whip out his blasters, but then Lucifer's eyes would turn red. Then he would grow horns. As Val would start to step back and say, "King, I didn't know," as Lucifer would grab him by the shoulders. "I was gonna let you go, After all, I've done some scummy things, so even though I didn't like you, it'd be hypocritical for me to get rid of you like that. But after this, I changed my mind," as suddenly his jaw was unhinged. As Val would try to fight it, Lucifer would simply just eat him and absorb his powers. As he burped, he would walk out. As then Angel felt free. As then Lucifer would walk to him, Angel would run and hug him and say, "I think I'll give this a try." As Lucifer would say, "That's great." As Sarah would have to stay in heaven most of the time, Angel and Lilith would spend a lot of time together, as they would treat each other like best friends, since they both loved Lucifer. As one night, they were both talking and playing video games together. As they were both playing video games, Angel would say, "Are you sure you don't mind being in a poly like this?" Lilith would say, "Of course I don't mind. You're like a best friend to me, Angel." And, well, Lucifer makes us both happy. Angel would say, "Yeah. What is he doing out anyway? Is he really going to add another person?" Lilith would say, "Yeah. You know him. He always likes to feel loved." As Angel would say, "Yeah." This is the first time Angel's ever been in a poly relationship, in a relationship that wasn't, toxic. So this was very new to him, but he was enjoying it, as Lilith was enjoying it too. She enjoyed all the friends she had along the way. As we cut to Lucifer, who'd be going around hell looking for someone new, looking for someone to add. There were many options, but out of everyone, who would make a good, suitable partner? As eventually Lucifer would be at a bar. In this alternate timeline, Alistair would never own Husk's soul. As Husk was the bartender, Lucifer would say hello. Husk would say, "Oh, it's you, King. What do you need?" Lucifer would simply smirk and say, "How about we have a night out, just you and me?" As then Husk and Lucifer would spend time together and have a great time. As Lucifer would take Husk back to his place, he would say, "Would you be interested in joining a poly?" Husk would say, "Well, I don't think I should." Angel would say, "Hello." Husk would say, "Holy crap, is that the star who recently left Oh, you freed him, didn't you? I heard about that on the news. Well, I guess I can give it a try." As Husk and Lucifer started dating, things actually went well. Lucifer, Husk, and Angel would all date each other, while all the girls would date Lucifer exclusively, except for Lilith, who would also date Husk. Sarah didn't really like Husk that much. As they continued their relationship, they only managed to get stronger, as their bond only began to grow. As they all would date Lucifer and live happily with him, as Angel was now free because of him. And even though Lilith and Sarah were at first under his control, eventually he'll let go of those spells, so they loved him for who he was. As Husk loved to have a good time, as they all loved him for different reasons, they would stay with Lucifer and be in a happy relationship. And that's going to leave things out. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share with all your friends. Now, there was a pretty big tone shift in this video, I'm not going to lie. That's because originally I wanted Lucifer to be mean, I wanted Lucifer to be this way, but I was like, what if it was wholesome? What if all these people just wanted to date him? Have a wholesome poly relationship. So I just changed it into that. I want it to be like a slow progression, though, into it. So I kind of did my best. If it was rushed, my bad. And I could have restarted the video. That would probably have been better. But by the time I knew what I wanted, I've already was like halfway done. I'm like, I'm not restarting it. I don't have enough energy. I'm sorry. But yeah, I still think this video turned out good. Do you think it turned out good? Let me know in the comments below. And who is your favorite character? Mine is Lucifer. He's always been my favorite. Well, not always, because, you know, when the pilot first came out, we didn't really see him. Back when the pilot first came out, Angel was my... Actually, let's do an experiment. Who was your favorite character when the pilot first released versus who's your favorite character now? Is it the same character? Is it a different character? And if it's a different character, tell me why. Because I feel like this will be a great experiment. I want all you to type your favorite character when the pilot first came out, then your favorite character right now. I think that will be a cool idea. Because I'm curious to see everyone's answers. Mine was Angel, now it's Lucifer. I would like to see if anyone was like, well, it used to... I think Alistair's going to be there all the time. Even though he was like way more mysterious in the pilot. Like, when people love a character, people know a lot about the character or they know almost nothing about him. And Alistair still has a mysterious nature to him, but I don't know. Pilot Alistair, he just... Since we know more about him now, he's not nearly as mysterious, you know what I mean? I feel like a lot of people's old favorites were Alistair. Alistair's still a good character. I'm not, like, saying he's a bad character now. I'm just saying with that aesthetic gone, which will be possible to keep going if you want to make the story, I feel like a lot of people won't have him as main character or favorite character anymore. Or, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But, yeah. I can't believe the anniversary was a couple weeks ago. Man, I feel old. I was still in school when that pilot came out, man. I was just a teenager, and now I'm an adult. It's crazy. Man, I can't believe. You ever feel old? I mean, I'm not old. I'm not going to tell you my age, but I'm not old at all. But I just feel old when I'm like, hey, I was a teenager. I was a kid when this came out. And I'm like an adult, and I see how old the show is. I'm like, oh, God. Am I really that old? Like, when I think of 2016 or 18 or 17, it doesn't feel that long ago. But when I look how long ago it was, I'm like, oh my God, I'm old. Do you guys relate? Do you ever feel that? Let me know in the comments below. Love you all so much. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. You mean the world to me. Peace out.